Hey everyone, welcome back to our weekly Ants Team live training. So what are we in, like, the last week of May? Finally, next weekend is Memorial Day weekend. Summer is almost here. I could taste it. And I say that as I sit in a wrap and my coat and socks and everything. But I'm just glad that we're not having this crazy winter weather that we're having. I will take whatever little bit of spring weather that I get. So I hope you guys are having an awesome week. You know, we get together here every week and we share our wins, the things that we're celebrating for the week. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. So this week I have been, I might have mentioned to you guys, but I've been having car problems. So um, I'm totally taking the glass half full route and counting it as a bit of a blessing because these past few months I've had to, at first I felt sort of like I was stopped in my tracks, and then I started to reevaluate how I was working my business, and I started to look at um, well, I couldn't travel the way I was used to. So I needed to find other ways to get around. And I really started to think back to the days when I had first gotten started as a representative, before I had my driver's license, before I had a car, and I was riding a Metro card, and the different ways that I ran my business back then. And I was there were a couple of moments where I was frustrated, but there were sometimes where I was just like, it's so good that our business is so flexible that, you can work it around your schedule. Like, really and truly, you can just incorporate it into your life. And I found that while my car was out, I realized that a lot of some of the things that I was doing were me going out of my way because I had the car, and it was, easy for me to jump in the car, do a 30-minute run to pick up one thing or pick up two things, or to make a quick drop off. But, it wasn't really the most efficient use of my time. And without the car, I really needed to think about the things that I was doing. So I really got a chance to analyze um, the methods that I had used when I first got started with my business, the different ways that I was able to build my business. It helped me to reevaluate the methods that I was currently employing, the use of my time, the use of my resources. What else? And there was a third thing that I wanted to share, and just being thankful for the things you have when they work. When a 20-minute, when a usual 20-minute run turns into a 2-hour trip, you really appreciate the moments where you can take that 20-minute run. But I was, even though this should have been my breaking point. I've been a couple of weeks now without a car. This is actually, I found myself being trying to express gratefulness and thanks for this chance to reevaluate my situation. And you guys might remember a few weeks ago we did a little talk, and I made a little post-it. Our talk was called "Be Crazy Thankful." I think it was around Thanksgiving, and we were talking about taking the chance to be thankful for the things that we normally wouldn't be thankful for, and the opportunities that they present for us to grow, or in this case, to evaluate, to really take a look at the way that we're doing things and improve. And I found that, I'm starting to get back in the swing of things. My car will probably be put together once, now that I kind of have things figured out. There are a couple of things that I am just not able to do anymore, but I've found workarounds to avoid them. So like far away brochure drop offs, where I was carrying a whole multitude of brochures to go far away. That wasn't feasible anymore. I can't even really get them to the post office, in bulk the way that I used to. So I found other ways to make contact with my customers, and a lot of it was going back to the grassroots methods. Phone calls, texts, emails. My customers have also been really awesome in understanding, and they're also growing and stepping out of their comfort zone and getting giving ordering online a chance. So they've been experiencing ordering online for the first time, realizing that how much easier it is, how much better, how much faster it is. So good is coming out of this, and I found myself just being crazy thankful for these moments that you normally just not usually. At first I was really upset, and I expressed it to a lot of my customers, like, this is, but at the end of the day, I'm thankful for these moments, thankful for being able to connect with people, still being able to reshape my business and being able to um I guess having a business that I do have the option to reshape, because I find, I could be in a business or a company where, if I was out of a vehicle, that would just be it for me. But continue to service my customers. There was a rough patch, a really long rough patch in the beginning. And I want to apologize to them, and I shout out to them. Shout outs of love and affection for those men and women who were, bearing with me until I got it together. But despite those rough patches, despite those moments, I have to say, it's been good to see that my business continues to grow and continues to move forward despite the minor setbacks. And I always say minor setbacks for major come ups. So, I wasn't this wasn't a oh my gosh, I'm gonna quit moment. It was just like, you know what, you have to find a way to work around this because this is just not the end all and be all of your business. And another thing the third thing that I was grateful for was because a lot of times I meet people and they'll say to me, oh, I do need the extra income. I would love to have my own business and be my own boss, but I can't do it because I don't have a car. And I'm always a little bit sad because I'm like, you can so do this without having a car. And, they would look at me and they would look at my car and they say, well, how do you know you have a car? And I would have to go back and say, you know what? Well, when I started, I didn't. I was riding the bus and taking the train, and I managed my business in a way that, if I was going to be at school, I delivered my orders in that area. I met up with customers in the area. We would meet each other on my lunch break or after school. We would all come together to one point because I didn't have the luxury of going in 10 different places. And, we all kind of worked it out together because that's what we had to do. And then when I got a car, it was just like, oh yeah, I'll come drop it to your house. I'll drive 30 minutes out of the way in the wrong direction to come drop it off, quick, fast, and in a hurry. But it wasn't an efficient use of my time, of the car. It wasn't good for the environment. But now order online or meet me at lunch. And, we even got to have a couple of, now after the fact, I'm like, I probably should have taken some selfies, taken some pictures for our lunch breaks. But, I would say, here's where I work. Where do you work? Oh, and I actually found a couple of customers who work in my neighborhood. So we were able to get together for lunch and kind of have like a lunch date out of it. So that was kind of cool and different, as opposed to me, having to run on the fly because I had to drive an hour in the opposite direction of their house and of my house to drop another order. So I was able to, hey, Anitra, thanks for joining. I was able to reevaluate and sort of remind myself and hopefully my teammates and any other representative who might be watching that, yeah, you can do this business without a vehicle. You can work this business around your life and into your schedule. And yeah, customers do want to order online, and customers will order online once they realize how awesome it is and how much faster they get their products. And when they realize that there are still samples in their products and they still get to hear from me and they still get to see me, and we still get to interact. Matter of fact, we get to interact even more because I'm not spending, hours and minutes of my time in transition. So that was my win for the week. And I hope it encourages someone out there who might be either maybe you just got started with this and you're starting to second guess yourself, like, oh my gosh, I do have a car. Maybe I can't do this. Or someone who is thinking about, stepping out and taking the first step towards financial success and getting started with the business of their own and having that financial freedom. They, if you are thinking, oh, maybe this isn't for me because I don't have a car. Yes, it is. You can still do this. Once you put your mind to doing anything, you can totally do it. It just might take reevaluation. But I'm actually going to be talking tonight about a tip for you. Reach out to your community because there are other people here in this, in our community, in our business, and even not just Avon, but, direct sales, marketing, network marketing. Any small business owner will tell you that there's always a workaround. When it appears that there's one obstacle in your way, there's always another door that'll open somewhere else, but you've got to hang around long enough to figure out where that door is. Those of you who know me, you know, hey, Milagros, welcome. You guys know me in the secret life of Georgie. I am a bit, I don't top myself as a gamer, but I do like to play video games. So my friends call me a gamer. I haven't been able to game as much because I've been trying to study and manage a business, but I do like to game occasionally. And one of the things about video games I love role playing games where you're given a board, you're given a place to like a uh, not technical terms, but your character is put in a world or situation, and you have to figure a way out. You have to get past the enemies. Have to get over obstacles. You have to figure out. Nowadays, a lot of the games are big on codes and mini games within the game, but it's basically like a code you have to break or crack to get through to the next level. Even those of you who are like old school gamers, like with Atari, you had a level to beat a certain amount of enemies that you have to overcome to move on to the next level, right? So it's sort of the same thing in life. You know, you're given these obstacles. You're put in a situation where you have a certain obstacle in your way or specific enemies to overcome and overpower. And if you look at it and say, okay, I can't do this and quit, you know, you'll never beat the game. You know, you'll never even give it a shot, and you never even get the enjoyment of having to go through the situation and figure it out. Because I think that's why I like role playing games more than like just plain shoot 'em up games, because I like the exercise, the experience of going through an obstacle, figuring out the code for myself, you know, being able to pat myself over the back when I figure out what the task was. And you know, when you have friends or family members who are playing similar games, who you know you get together with later on and say, oh, you know, how about that situation, did you overcome it, how long did it take you, an hour or 2 hours, 2 days? And it varies all the time, but the experience is part of what makes it enjoyable. And I will tell you, I am honestly like on my third or fifth control. I'm a button masher. So I do get anxious, I do get nervous, I do get tense, and I do get frustrated. But the joy of coming out on the other side, having overcome the situation, makes you feel so good. So I want to encourage all of you, you know, if you're, whatever the obstacle is, and we have different obstacles in our lives, and some of them are really tough. I'm not saying this to um, diminish the importance of any of it, to make it seem like, oh, well, you know, it's just a game, because I know a lot of the things that we're going through are, you know, really serious. But I want to encourage you to find the silver lining, to um, not quit and give up in the beginning, but to really push and go through it. It may take you, maybe you're a person, and you know, for those of us who are going through stuff, sometimes, you know, one person will go through the same thing, figure it out, lickety spit in an hour and be on their way. For another person, it might be more of a challenge. It might take them a day or a week to figure it out. That is okay. It's not so much how fast you overcome the obstacle, but the fact that you do. So, you know, don't look at other people either and say, well, you know, she's got it. And I'm guilty of this myself, but I've sort of had to talk to myself about this week too. But you know, I have to keep telling myself, don't look at other people, don't look at the speed at which they're progressing or moving through or overcoming the obstacles, leveling up, so to speak. Just go through, learn from your experiences, and do it within your own time. At the end of the day, what's most important is that you do it. So, going back to my original thought, I'm squirrel braining here. But you know, if you're going through, even if it's not, you know, not having a car, if it's another obstacle that you feel is something that's going to hinder you from being successful in this business, could be that you don't really have any friends or family members to think of immediately to support your business. I've been there. I didn't have a lot of friends and family to start. I didn't have a big customer base when I started off. It might be a language barrier. It might be a physical impairment, a physical hindrance. Whatever it is, there is still a workaround. This is just your board. This is just your level to beat for this stage in the game. Take your time with it, figure it out, you know, mull over it, and talk to other people within our community, see what they've done to get ideas to help you move forward. So, as you guys share your wins, ooh, I see an awesome a win. I'm gonna count it as a win in the chat box. Miss Anitra is planning for RepFest. wonderful, Miss Anitra, because I am going to talk about that a little bit today in my overall discussion. So today I'm really going to be talking about. I know I kind of took a detour in my video game world, but in my world of overcoming obstacles, just because it's something that we deal with all the time, and it's something that's constantly in front of us that if we're not careful can keep us back. But um, I wanted to get into that because it'll help me segue to tonight's discussion. So, tonight I'm going to be talking about the importance of community and getting plugged into your community. And I'm always so thankful for this wonderful world of Avon brothers and sisters, but not just within Avon. I met a lot of great people in other companies and other direct sales companies and other businesses. Once the people, people who are big enough to get past whatever prejudices they have about different businesses or people from different areas, different backgrounds, because at the end of the day, business is business. And I always find whenever I get together with other real business people who get that, the opportunity for the growth and expression of ideas and brainstorming, there's always such huge potential. So shout out to those guys who are able to, think business and, brainstorm and, learn and grow from people who are in other businesses. But I really want to encourage you tonight to get plugged into your community and get connected with other people. Not just in the mindset of, I'm going to find customers and every person that I meet on the street is a dollar sign. And everybody that I talk to, I have to put a brochure in their hand or a business card in their hand. Yeah, you want to put your information, whether it's a business card or a brochure in their hand, but more importantly, you want to develop the relationship because at the end of the day, the relationship is the best tool, the best gift, the best reward that you can get whenever you meet other people. And I I I kind of wanted to encourage you guys tonight again. I feel like I've been talking about a lot this year, but I didn't do a full discussion focused only on the importance of community. I wanted to do that tonight. So within our community, we have a variety of options. First and foremost, because Miss Anitra and Malaga brought it up, RepFest. So RepFest, REP, short for representative, Fest, short for festival, is basically an Avon convention for all of us representatives on a national level. And I actually have met quite a few representatives. There's one particular representative from Guam who I get to meet every year. But, it's a great opportunity for us as reps to connect and build our relationships, learn, grow, network. Avon always has some really great speakers. This year we're going to be joined by Barbara Corcoran. You guys know her from, I believe it's Shark Tank. This is a small show. I'm sure you guys have all heard about it. It's not, something that, I mean, if you haven't heard of it, you're got to pull your head out from under a rock because this is, I mean, when we're talking about businesses and entrepreneurs, this is the show that kind of put being an entrepreneur back on the map again. So Barbara Corcoran is going to be speaking. We're going to have a lot of great speakers. We're going to have a live concert by Rascal Flatts. If you don't know them, they're the guys who sing Life is a Highway. I'm not going to sing for you. I will not punish you like that. But yeah, Miss Milagro says she loves networking events. It's such a great connection time with business owners. So yeah, you really have to take advantage of these events. Um, I mentioned to you guys last week that the previous 2 weeks I was able to join some Avon reps in the cruise to Bermuda, and then the week after that I was able to participate in the President's Recognition Program tribute for my local representatives. And here I am 2 weeks later, still like vibing off of the energy and the ideas and the encouragement. Don't encourage me. The encouragement that I got from the other representatives that I met at these events. And we do these events usually when I first got started. We used to have like a monthly meeting, and because I was in school, I kind of neglected those meetings. But I tried to whenever I was on holiday or on break, or if I didn't have midterms or finals, I was trying to get out to those meetings because those are the opportunities that I really learned. That's where I learned the business. That's where I heard ideas from other successful representatives. At that time, we didn't really have YouTube and Facebook like we do now, where we could connect. But even then, I always felt that being in the same room as people, there was like a impromptu exchange of ideas. It wasn't, there was always a speaker, but the speaker would talk about things, but there was always some conversation that, like, I call it the water cooler talk, around the donuts, around the coffee, even just whispers, or if someone would pop up and share their story of success. It was those moments where I gleaned like little golden nuggets that I held on to. It was those opportunities where I heard someone say, yeah, 3 months ago I came to a meeting and they told me this, that, and the other thing. And then I went home and I implemented it. And here are the results. Those are the moments that resonated with me because it encouraged me, the shy, soft spoken person, to just try things. And hearing the story, sometimes you would hear, a person try something and it didn't work, but then they altered it and made it their own and reshaped it and did it again, and this time they made it work. But it was always nice to hear, not everything works for everybody, but you could take it and craft it and make it your own. And hearing the stories of people just overcoming the obstacle of that initial failure, but not making it be a failure that kept them down, but something that they could do to rise up and overcome, and now share an even different idea. So now you, instead of just having the first idea, you had the, I don't want to say new and improved idea, but the, I guess, second variety. So those moments were really encouraging to me. Excuse me. So these RepFest meetings is like our small local meetings on steroids. It's I can never really describe it, but the energy is always so awesome, so amazing. The representatives, when you get together with reps, it's like we like when you, I want to say it's not even really a club. Sisterhood or brotherhood is more like it, but because you do feel like family and you do go back and you see the same people and you connect and you talk about family, but there's something else that when you, it's just like the energy. I wish I was doing a better job of articulating the awesomeness, but the energy, the people who are motivated and have a mindset to succeed and grow. I mean, you could be in a room with people who do the same thing as you and still be, getting negative feedback or still not really feel excited about it. But there's something about RepFest because the people who are there usually are there to learn and grow and connect and, participate. So when you go to these events and you're going with that level of positive energy, it sort of vibrates at a different level that's above the normal level of excitement, and you feel good. You learn so much. You grow. And I can tell you, I make connection with people. I've met people at RepFest that I talk to outside of, business building, just like, family, hanging out, let's be friends, let's go to the beach, let's go to the movies, let's just talk on the phone about life. I've met people that I now get a chance to do life with. I've My first RepFest was in 2009. It was in Las Vegas. And I remember sitting in the crowd at the back of the room and watching the speakers and hearing their story and being touched by their success and saying, what, if they could do this, then I can too. I remember hearing the stories of other people who were in the room with me, the obstacles that they overcame, the things that even that they were still struggling with, but seeing their determination to work through it and figure it out. Like sometimes people would come to conference with something that they were going through, but also with the mindset of they're there to connect and figure out if anyone else has gone through the same thing that might be able to share some tips and ideas to help them through. And even seeing that, when you see someone going through something and still just eager to learn and eager to find that solution, it does something to you. And I remember sitting there in the crowd. I think it was like the final session. I have to find a picture, but I remember they had like this giant chocolate cake with this giant chocolate plaque, that said Avon, and I'm sitting there just like, you know, um, this is what Avon does for us. This is how Avon treats us. And walking into that room in the beginning, I always share this moment having the Avon corporate, the district managers, divisional, now the divisionals, or they're all different names now, but the people at the time, the division managers who, lined up on either side of the doors, just clapping for you, cheering up for you, high-fiving you, where, I never really did sports growing up. I don't even really do sports now. But, when you watch the football team run in and the crowd is high-fiving and cheering them for them, seeing that and experiencing it are two different things. So shout out to those of you who are in sports who get to do this every day. But for me, that was a moment where I was just like, you guys are cheering for me? Really? What? And, just going through that and saying, after that conference, I said, Lord, if I can make it, I want to be at every other conference that they have. And thank God I haven't missed a single one ever since, because I look forward to this event every year. And I know some people go as, say, like a hobby. They're going to, I don't know, see the sites, connect with a new location. But when I go to learn, I go to grow, and I go to connect with the other people there. So the connections are so important. The people that you surround yourself with are so important. But what it boils down to, um, Malagra says she's getting her bombitas, her little sample packs ready for networking at RepFest and recruiting. Anitra says it's going to be so much fun. Yeah, it is a huge business party. So I'm glad you guys are so excited about it, because sometimes I feel like, when I talk about RepFest, if this happens, I just kind of lose it a little bit. And I'm glad to see that other people feel the same way. But um, yeah, it's just an amazing opportunity. And the thing is, though, that what it boils down to is you kind of picking yourself up by the bootstraps and taking the initiative to go. You're not going to reap the benefits of this event, of this opportunity, of the potential for the connections, the potential for success. I can't tell you how many like small little, maybe seemingly insignificant tidbits that other reps have shared with me have had a large impact on my business. How even, maybe if they didn't share something with me, even just hearing their story of overcoming their obstacle or hearing their determination. And Avon always has representatives share their stories, share their experiences, whether it's on the grand stage or within like little breakout sessions. We're essentially taught by other representatives who have gone through it. Hearing their ideas and their stories, even if it's not like a specific do this or do that, it always has a huge impact on me. I always come back feeling so empowered and so full of energy. And I always have a little bit of a moment when I come back, because I'm like, yeah. And I come back to the people who haven't gone yet, and they're like, ah. So I can feel, the difference between how I feel when I go and I come back, and those who haven't gone yet. So I want to encourage all of you, first and foremost, if you can, if it's possible, really try to attend RepFest. Avon is making a huge effort to make it possible for as many representatives to go as possible. So first they had early bird registration, which was like $100. Yeah, I understand it's a cost, but that opportunity, they give you $150 in swag. You take it back home and sell it, and to earn back your registration. Now registration is still really affordable. I believe it's still 150, 140, 149 or something like that. You get your swag bag again of products. You can take it back home, sell it to recuperate your investment. It's one of the most affordable conferences I've ever seen. Plus, they have this new incentive. I believe it's called the Heart of It All incentive. I don't have a printout, but you can even earn the free hotel stay, plus other little goodies. So by building your business, whether it's through recruiting and referring other people to the company or increasing your overall sales, you can earn some free goodies and earn a free hotel stay. So the Avon will pay for you to stay there for the 2 nights, for you to get an education, for you to better yourself, for you to connect with other representatives, for you to personally develop. They're doing that for us. They, did their best to keep the cost down to a minimum. I know a lot of companies and a lot of organizations, their national conference is a fundraising opportunity. It is, that's just what it is. And, you see it. There's no fronting about it, because you're just like, what could possibly have cost this amount? But Avon has said, they want to make it affordable for us. So they did a heck of a job keeping the costs really low. They did, reached out to the other hotels in the area and got some really great deals. They've got shuttle buses going around, so once you're there, you really don't have to worry about transportation. Um, They've, of course, you can always share a room with other representatives, so you can split the cost of your hotel room by sharing with another rep. So you're paying, instead of paying the full price, you're essentially paying 50%. But now on top of that, they're saying, you know what, we will pay for the hotel if you earn it. Come. And when I see that, even that's another opportunity for me to say, wow, this company really cares about us. They want us to be there so bad. They're willing to pay for us to do it. And yeah, you still have to maybe worry about the airfare. But I'm coming from New York. I saw some pretty good rates. I try to book ahead of time. That's another reason I register early. I get that early bird special. I book my hotel and my flight really early so that I could save a little bit there. And I also try to save up during the year. So instead of just trying to figure out how I'm going to cover this entire expense for, within that month, I have 12, I could split it across 12 months. So I can save small increments along the way to make it affordable for me. And I will go, in the beginning, I remember the first time I went, I was like, well, you could afford to eat out once. So figure out what you're going to eat. The rest of the days, bagels and cream cheese. I don't even remember if our hotel had a refrigerator, but I do remember putting the cream cheese in a little ice bucket overnight so that it would stay cool. But I just wanted to be there and I didn't care. And I I learned so much and I'm so glad that I went because I do feel that my Avon business wouldn't be where it is if I hadn't made that initial investment. But so that's RepFest. In addition to RepFest, yeah, Milagros, it's also recharging time. It's like, you get plugged in and you recharge your batteries. And that is like, if you guys have those little portable chargers, some of the ones that they give away as like freebies when you go to different conventions, they're kind of, not so great. You plug them in and it takes you a day to get your battery or your phone or whatever it is back up to full charge. But when you plug your phone into the wall, you get those like rapid chargers that are like instant charge and like, super fast and it's such high energy. RepFest is like that. So you got like, um, I guess like this, our weekly check-ins, we would be like the cheapo small version. We give you a little bit of a charge, but you head out to RepFest and it gives you so much more of a charge. So, you know, that level of excitement and investment is so good. But also on top of that, I want to encourage you guys to not neglect just like gathering with other representatives, gathering with other people, gathering with other like-minded positive people. Don't, surround yourself with the negative Nancy's because they're not going to do anything for you. They're just dragging you down. I had notes and I don't know where I put them, but that's kind of scary. I'm dangerous with paper. You guys always see me with my phone. That's where I normally write my notes. Today, for some reason, I decided I was going to write it on paper, and I kid you not, I don't know where the paper is. But I had like, a bulleted list to walk you through so I don't squirrel brain like I am now. But um, so in addition to just surrounding yourself with other people, you want to take value in those meetings. And I always say I'm thankful again for the people I have in my life. And some of them are within our company, some of them aren't. Some of them are family and friends. But I find it so important to have a huge, like a not necessarily a huge, it could be just one other person as your support, but having a strong support group because those are the people who will pick you up when you're not feeling so great and when you're down. And sometimes a conversation with that person can mean the difference between you eating an entire jar of Ben and Jerry's, you quitting your business, and just throwing your future financial freedom down the drain because I feel like when you quit stuff that are giving possibilities for you, it is essentially throwing away another stream of income, another string of possible futures. You never know what you're giving up on, and you probably never will, even after you've given it up. But when you quit and you give up, you close the door in your own face. So sometimes having a conversation with someone, just not even sometimes to find a solution to your problem, but sometimes just to be able to talk it out. I can't tell you how many times, like, talking to my mom or talking to my sister or talking to a friend, just in talking about it, it kind of hearing it clicks back and helps me to say, okay, you know what though, as I'm saying this to you, I just got an idea. I'm gonna go try this out. And even though I might have been talking about it to myself and making notes, maybe I didn't really get anywhere, but I get a chance to talk to a friend and I get to take it to the next level. This past week, I was talking with another friend about my business, and he was able to kind of look at it from an outside perspective and say, well, what about this? What about that? You know, have you tried this? What if you looked at it this way? And he kind of crunched some numbers and ran some things, and I was just like, I never, what? How did you get that in 2 minutes? And I've been struggling with this for years, you know. And this is not an Avon representative. This wasn't even an architect. This is just a friend of mine, and you know, but we couldn't have had those moments if I didn't have that connection. And I'm an introvert. I value my time alone, but I do find myself, you know, when I do get out and when I do connect with my friends, and associates and acquaintances and other professionals, I can glean some type of information or encouragement. So I want to encourage you guys to get plugged into your communities. Get plugged into the Avon community. Don't just come in and listen. Come in and talk. Introduce yourself. Get used to having that conversation. Get used to making those connections with other people. So, you know, it could be a simple, I have a I call her my friend now, but she didn't start off that way. But there's a woman in my area that I started off, you know, good morning, good morning, good morning. How you doing? How's the weather today? How are things going? And now if I don't see her, I'm like, where did she go? Is she here? Am I early? Am I late? Okay, let me see if I see her tomorrow. See her tomorrow. I'm like, hey, how are you? I missed you yesterday. Are you okay? And she might say, yeah, no, I wasn't feeling so good. So I took off from work. And I'm like, oh, you know, how are you now? Is there anything that I can do? And we sort of developed a relationship. But even that, you know, the other day I thought about it, having someone to check in on you to say, hey, are you all right? Did you get home today? Is there anything I can do? It means a lot to know that someone else is there looking for you, you know? So when you go to meetings and you connect with someone else and you decide to duck out and miss that meeting, to have that person text you like, hey, are you coming? Are you gonna, is everything all right? Are you gonna be around for the meeting today? I miss you. You know, it encourages you, it encourages you to get out and go because you know there's gonna be someone there who misses you. Even if you're kind of just feeling like, I don't really want to do this today, you think in the back of your head, well, you know, that one person is looking for me, so I'm gonna go. And that moment might be an opportunity that is going to change your life. You might sit next to someone who's going to share an idea with you that will totally be a game changer for you. Or you might go there and hear a tiny little nugget of information, maybe not out of the whole hour, but maybe just like 2 seconds of that activity will be a huge thing for you. Or maybe you'll go there and you'll meet someone new. You know, you never know until you go. And if you're just sort of like wallowing by yourself without someone to provide that encouragement, you may not have made it and you may not have gone. And I want to also encourage you guys to not just connect, and I've kind of been touching on this a little bit throughout today's talk, but not just connect with people who are doing the exact same thing as you, the exact same age as you, the exact same gender or background or business or, you know, whatever as you. There is strength and power in diversity. Is, you know, when you're surrounded by other people who have different ideas and different ways of looking at things, as I shared with you earlier today, I sat down with someone who's not in my business, who doesn't really like, I wouldn't have thought that he would get what I was even talking about, but he listened, he got it, and was able to teach me something that I wouldn't have figured out. So connecting with people who are different from you, there's also strength in that. And we need to do more to cherish those opportunities. And I love that in Avon there are other men, there are other women. We're coming from all walks of life, all ages, all educational backgrounds, all you know, races, all, did I say ages? Yes. You know, we're all different from all parts of the country. And I think that's what makes us stronger, because when we do get together with our different perspective, yeah, sometimes we butt heads, but we also can come together and learn from each other and grow from that. So I also want to encourage you guys to break out of whatever your shell is. And I know it's hard because as humans, we want to be surrounded by people who are just like us because we feel like they'll get us. But, you know, you'll learn from the people who are different from you. And I even feel, and I've always said for a long time, especially within my day job profession, I can see when you have the same people together and you all think alike, there's less growth, there's less opportunity for growth. because you guys are all looking at the same situation the same way. There are no new ideas. But when you introduce someone who's different, who has a different outlook, a different perspective, a different background, comes from a different age, things are different. Then all of a sudden things are shaken up a little bit, and they're able sometimes to just ask a simple question that turns everything on its head, and gets the situation to be reevaluated in a different way, that then leads to this giant leap in growth and development. So I feel like we also need to cherish, not just um, our gathering with each other, but gathering and connecting with other people, different outlooks, different mindsets, positive mindsets. Negative people, I'm still just like, stay clear of them. I'm sure they have their moments in small doses. They might ask those questions. My brother calls it playing devil's advocate. But, those, I guess, in small doses, having a different perspective helps. But, you know, being surrounded by others who can maybe analyze and look at a situation differently from you. I learned so much. Like, again, going back to RepFest, like I said, it's a national conference. So we're all coming from different parts of the country. Some of us are in urban areas, some of us are in rural areas, some of us are just brand new, some of us have been around for a long time, some are women, some are men. It's different. It's the difference, and we come together and we learn. And I that was another thing that I noticed in my first conference, and I mentioned this probably a couple of times here, but I'm in an urban situation. But when I meet with reps who are in suburban situations to hear about how they're doing things, it I could take stuff from what they say and apply it to my situation, being in an urban situation, and still make it work. But I can also then work with my teammates who are in a suburban situation, and I could say, you know what, I know what problem you're having. I met a lady or a guy at RepFest and they were having a similar situation. Here's what they did. Here's an idea that you can try. Test it out, run a few trials, alter it, make your own, make it work. Milagros and I, Milagros is from down south. I'm from up north. Our areas are different, but sometimes we bounce ideas off of each other, and we could, I can learn from things that she says. Maybe it doesn't work exactly the same for me, but I can, tweak it and adjust it and make it my own, and then move forward with it. Sometimes we might talk about things that I could just say that's not going to work here. But it could spark an idea, and even having the conversation might spark an idea for something else that I can do. So I mean, we're all of us here on this chat are from different areas, and that adds to our potential for growth. So don't just, definitely don't neglect gathering together. And then when you do gather, try to step out of your comfort zone. Try not to surround yourself with people who are exactly like you and think exactly like you and look exactly like you and talk exactly like you and have the same exact ideas that you have. Try to find people who are different, because that is where you'll start to see the growth, where you'll start to see that, building and developing on, each other's ideas. As you guys know by now, because I keep saying it, I'm an architectural designer, and we build. But if you think about a brick wall, how is a brick wall built? You've got a brick block, solid brick, but it's connected with many different bricks, and each brick is different. They're never ever the same exact color. They're never like, they're all maybe square or rectangular, but there are slightly different slight differences between each one. And bricks that we use tend not to be smooth. If you find a brick, take a look at it. It has little pockets and crevices and grooves. I know I'm losing you guys, but bear with me. I'm getting to a point here. But each brick has different grooves. So when we lay the bricks on each other, we don't just lay them loosely because, just kind of hanging out on top of each other. For the most part, if it's a tall wall you're trying to build, it's not going to hold. It's going to fall down. We join it together with something we call mortar, which is a wet type of material. It's like crushed brick with a little water mixed in. And that mortar, it's not the same as brick, but together they make a bond that's stronger. Also, because the brick has those little pockets and grooves and holes, because each one is different, when you lay that mortar on top of it, the mortar settles in those grooves, and it's like teeth that form a bigger bond. But if you took the solid dry brick and you tried to use solid dry mortar and lay them on top of each other, it wouldn't work. They work so well because they're two different materials that work together stronger, that work together better and stronger together. So You guys are going to be full of architectural analogies. But, I think about that, and I think about, the strength in differences. And I also think about strength in numbers. You guys know that um, animals, they won't attack a herd, or if they do, they'll cause confusion so that the herd breaks off and then they could pick off the scragglers. You don't want to be one of the scragglers. And I find myself telling myself this all the time. As I said earlier, I'm an introvert. So I kind of want to be by myself sometimes. But when I think about it, I'll say, you don't want to be that sheep that is falling behind the herd and in a vulnerable position. Get yourself back into the herd where you're surrounded by the flock and other people who are moving forward together because there is strength and protection in those numbers. So I want you guys to think about that as well when you're thinking about your day to day and how you build your business. Take every opportunity you can to get connected, to build relationships with others. Don't isolate yourself. And I know it's hard. I've got a full time job and I have studies and I've got community activities and extracurriculars. So the things I have on my plate, and I have teammates who are working full time and have husbands and children and their own obligations. We all have our various different obligations and activities that we're involved in. But take the time, even if it's once a month, twice a month, to get back together with your peers and get plugged in, and not just even to have what do you call those, a pity party, not for the sake of getting together to complain and vent and make yourself feel worse than when you got together, but to empower each other and build each other up. So those are sort of my tidbits that I want you guys to be mindful of as we wrap up May. And I hope that encourages you to get connected and build relationships. And I found for myself definitely that I've done better because of the relationships that I've had in this business, and the relationships that I've had with other people, but also the other people that I watch, like even within my team, the reps who are plugged in and get connected and do the meetings and the trainings and the workshops and read their what's new catalog and kind of know what's happening, they do better. I don't know if it's a situation of, the chicken before the egg or the egg before the chicken. I don't know if they're getting plugged in and connected because they are driven and they do have that mindset towards success, or if they have the mindset towards success because they are getting connected and being driven. But I do know it's cyclical. I do see them, the deeper and further plugged in that they get, the stronger they get as representatives and as leaders. The stronger they get, the better they become as they get plugged in, because they're involving themselves in the exchange of ideas. In the beginning, you might feel like you have nothing to contribute, but then as you get connected and meet other people who are just coming in, then you start being a contributor. And in contributing, they always say that the best way to learn, and I've definitely seen this for myself in my career with my Avon business. I always say I feel like I really started to work this business as a business and learn and grow when I put it in my mind that I was gonna train and coach others. Because I mean, at first, and I'll tell you guys, sometimes I feel like I don't know, you know, I'll share my ideas or I'll share what I've learned. But sometimes I feel like, what do I have to share? What do I know? What do I have to teach? So I'll either go out and figure it out or I'll share what I'm doing. But there's always someone who can learn from you. So get connected, guys. Get plugged in. If you haven't already, register for RepFest. Make it happen. I think I would put money on it being worth it. I mean, if you go with the intention of not just going like, okay, well, Georgie M said if I go, then it'll be great. But okay, I'm gonna come here. I'm gonna learn. I'm gonna grow. I'm going to leave here with um, some ideas and tidbits. I'm going to come out better and stronger than when I came in. Then yeah, it's going to be an awesome event. And I think you guys are going to enjoy it. But also get plugged into local activities. Get connected with your meetings, your local meetings. Avon, I think, is going to be doing another round of tours. So always keep an eye out for those activities. I do trainings with my team every other Saturday. So if you haven't already, join us on Saturdays. We do our recognition, we do our trainings, and we kind of share ideas. But the most important thing is to get plugged in. Find yourself in community, because there is strength in numbers. There's strength in development and progress when you learn from people who are going through the same things that you are, but also different, and bringing different mindsets and different ideas to the situation. And also network, get connected with other business people, other professionals, other people in your community. Yes, Anitra, awesome way to put it. Iron sharpens iron. Get together with other sharp people, sharpen yourself, sharpen them, and be that asset to your community, and be that game changer for your own business. So that's my chat for tonight, guys. I hope you feel encouraged, and I want to thank you guys all for joining me. Next week is Memorial Day weekend. Memorial Day is Monday. Yeah, I think I'll see you here. But as usual, you can find me on Facebook. On my Avon page, there will be a post before we get started for every event so that you can find this link. So check into my Avon page, Avon by Georgiana, or if we're friends on Facebook, look on my page. I will post the link every week that we have our meetings to let you know that I'm going to be here. And of course, this video will be up and shared so that you can also rewatch and share with others. So thank you guys again for joining me. Looking forward to seeing you at RepFest. We're counting down the weeks. Almost there. I can't wait. I know I'm excited. You guys, I haven't stopped smiling this whole chat. But looking forward to seeing you all there, guys. Have a great night. Have a productive, awesome week. Enjoy your Memorial Day weekend. Shout out to all of our troops and all the people who serve and protect us. I mean, talk about getting in community. Yeah. So thanks, guys. Have a great evening. Bye.